Episode 3, we finalize our last couples and get the first little glimpse of the honeymoons. Already trouble brewing for some of our couples, and not a good sign to be in a bad place right at the start of these relationships. So obviously we got to talk about Shayna. She decides that she's going to confess her feelings to Shane after accepting a proposal from Kyle. This just doesn't sit well with me because now this is something that's going to linger over two relationships and not just one. Shane now had moved on from Shayna and now has this big what if. What if she had told me 2 days sooner? What if she had told me, right at the start? Would I have picked differently? He has now that hanging over him as he heads into his relationship with Natalie. And on the other end of things, Shayna has basically established that she would have still been open to Shane after saying yes to Kyle. It's just not a good look. And for those two, it didn't really get any better. They go and they meet for the first time, have that initial first kiss, which looked like a terrible kiss. Looked like Kyle just ran full speed into her face. And from that moment on, you could visibly see her trying to pull away from him. Don't think the physical attraction is there for Shayna. Kyle seems like he's all in with his wife, or pardon me, his fiance, but she is not. She's having doubts, and like we're not even like a week into the relationship. They haven't even had one conversation about religion or how they're going to handle that to find out if it is going to be a problem. In my opinion, it's only a problem if you make it a problem. You can very well live together with someone who has some different religious beliefs than you, but you have to make that decision that is going to be okay. And we're not even to the point where Shayna's going to be seeing Shane on a regular basis. We actually haven't even had that moment yet where Shayna sees Shane for the first time. We kind of had this last season, talked about it in my last recap, but I think I called Barnett Barrett, which is not correct. Barnett is not Barrett, just so everybody knows. And this is going to be something that hang over that relationship even more. They start their honeymoon, and Shayna declares that she doesn't want to share a bed with Kyle. And even though it's still pretty early in the evening, she is heading to her own room for the night. I get the impression that Shayna doesn't even want to give Kyle a chance, which is very unfortunate because seeing them together for the first little portion of the honeymoon, it seemed like they were vibing very well, getting along very well. And then she kind of changed her tune, changed her attitude real quick, and now is removing herself from the relationship. So that is pretty unfortunate, but I don't think that too many of us are all that surprised by what's happening. On the other side of the fallout from the Shayna drama, we have Shane and Natalie. So Shane has to go straight from Shayna confessing her feelings for him to proposing to Natalie. Very awkward. They did seem to have quite a bit of attraction for each other when they did finally meet. Seemed like their connection was going pretty well, but once they got on the honeymoon, things were a little awkward, and that could just be some first day together jitters. you're just not really knowing how to actually act now that it's all in person. You never know. It's sometimes easier to talk to somebody over the phone than it is in person. And this could just be one of those situations. We'll have to keep an eye on them to see how they do moving forward. Next up, let's jump over to Mallory. Mallory was there making a decision between Jarrett and Salvador. Jarrett goes and asks her, hey, if I proposed, would you say yes? And she says that she wouldn't, that her connection with Salvador is deeper, and that's who she wants to pursue. Jarrett was crushed, and then Salvador ends up proposing to Mallory. Obviously, she says yes, and then they met, and it felt a little off, felt a little awkward, and of course, we cut to Mallory admitting that she's not attracted to her husband. Will that be something that she will be able to overcome? Will remain to be seen. We didn't get to see them on the honeymoon at all, but definitely a couple that is starting their journey with a very large road bump in front of them. Lastly, we have Jarrett and Ayana. Got to give some props to Jarrett for being completely honest with Ayana. He could have just said that, hey, Mallory and I broke up. You're the only one for me. Let's get married. But he didn't. He was honest, said exactly what happened, and Ayana didn't take it too well. But Jarrett still ends up proposing, and she says yes. Once they were together, they seemed like an amazing couple. I would say like my two favorite couples early on in this season are going to be Nick and Danielle, along with Jarrett and Ayana. They seemed extremely cute together, and very much appreciated that Jarrett let Ayana initiate that first kiss, because that was something that she had expressed concerns about, that she didn't really like kissing, and then thought that was very thoughtful and caring of Jarrett. So yeah, they seem very smitten with each other, look amazing together, and will be one of the couples I'll be rooting for this season. Lastly, Nick makes his own toothpaste. All right, everybody, we'll see you later.